Hello students, let's recall what we learned in the last EVS class. We learned about the things that dissolve in water like salt, sugar, and the things that do not dissolve in water such as chalk powder, oil. I hope you all must have done these experiments at home. We also learned about Dandi March. Today, here is a new chapter for you, Chapter 8, A Treat for Mosquitoes, in which I am going to tell you about malaria and anemia. So children, let's begin our class.
A treat for mosquitoes. Children, in this chapter there are 4 children: Jaskirat, Rajat, Nancy, and Aarti. All the 4 children are in school. Let's see what they are discussing. Rajat is back at school. He had been absent for many days. So, Aarti asked, "How are you now, Rajat?" Rajat replied, "I am all right." Jaskirat said, "You must have played a lot while you were at home." Rajat replied, "Who wants to play when you have fever?" On top of it, I had to take a bitter medicine. Bitter medicine means kadvi dawai. I even had a blood test. Jaskirat asked, "A blood test? Why?" "It must have been very painful." Rajat replied, "Actually, when the needle pricked my finger, it felt like an ant bite. They took 2 to 3 drops of blood and sent it for testing. That's how we came to know that I had malaria." Nancy asked, "But you get malaria when a mosquito bites you." Rajat said, "Yes, but we find out by the blood test." Jaskirat said, "There are a lot of mosquitoes in my house these days, but I did not get malaria." Nancy replied, "Who says that every mosquito bite causes malaria? Malaria spreads only by the disease carrying mosquitoes." Aarti said, "All mosquitoes look the same to me." Then Rajat replied, "There must be some difference." Nancy asked, "Did they take the blood from the place where the mosquito had bitten you?" Rajat said, "Of course not. How do I know when and where the mosquito bit me?" Then again Nancy asked Rajat, "But how could they find out that you had malaria by your blood test? Do you think they could see something in the blood?" Children, through blood test, we can find out whether a person has malaria. Malaria is more common in rainy season. Mosquitoes get suitable environment to breed during the rainy season, and hence there are more cases of malaria. Now, let's look at the report of blood test given here. Which words in the report help us to know that the person has malaria? In the blood test report, it is clearly written that malaria parasite was found in the blood. Children, there is medicine for malaria. From early times, the dried and powdered bark of the cinchona tree was used to make a medicine for malaria. Earlier, people used to boil the bark powder and strain the water which was given to patient. Now tablets are made from this. Now these four children again started discussing. Aarti said, "You know, I also had to get a blood test done. But they took a syringe full of blood. The blood test showed that I had anemia." Rajat asked, "What is that?" Aarti replied, "The doctor said that there is less hemoglobin or iron in the blood. The doctor gave some medicines to give me strength. He also said that I should eat jaggery, amla, and more green leafy vegetables because these have iron." Nancy asked, "How can there be iron in our blood?" Jaskirat said, "There was something about this in the newspaper yesterday." Then Rajat asked, "So then you ate iron or what?" Aarti replied, "Silly, this is not the iron used to make these keys. I don't know exactly what it was. After I ate a lot of vegetables and whatever the doctor had said, my hemoglobin went up." Now let's look at Aarti's blood report. Here is Aarti's two pathology reports. In the first report, Aarti's hemoglobin is 8 gm per dl, and in the second report it is 10.5 gm per dl. So gm is grams and dl is deciliter. In the second report, we can see that Aarti's hemoglobin went up from 8 grams per deciliter to 10.5 grams per deciliter. That means Aarti's hemoglobin is increased by 2.5 gram per deciliter, and it took about 3 months. Now, Jaskirat said that there was something about this in the newspaper. So, what was it? Anemia common in Delhi school. On 17 November 2007, thousands of children studying in municipal corporation schools in Delhi suffer from anemia. This is affecting both their physical as well as mental health. Due to anemia, children do not grow well and their energy levels are also low. This affects their ability to study properly. Now, health checkups are being done in the schools and health cards are being made for all the children. Anemic children are also being given iron tablets. So children, to increase iron in blood, we should eat jaggery, amla and green leafy vegetables. And here I end a treat for mosquitoes part 1 explanation.